Hello, everyone, and greetings from the Windows 11 preview. You can see my dog in the background. You gotta love that little bastard. Anyway, I am actually on the Windows 11 preview so far. Over the past couple of days that I've been delving into it, I actually like it. There are some certain issues with it, with my laptop, because I have it on my laptop as well. My laptop is a 15-inch HP with a 4500U processor. So it's no slouch of a laptop. It's got 16 gigs of RAM. It's got a 1 terabyte M.2 drive. It's a decent processor. Or it's a decent all-around laptop for school. So I love it. I put it on there, and I use my Echo Dot through the Bluetooth on that, and there's Bluetooth issues with Windows 11 right now. It's the only real issue I've run into. That, and the taskbar doesn't mirror on multiple displays. It only extends. So I have a taskbar on my second display that has absolutely nothing on it, including no time. That's annoying. But that's not why we're here. Why we are here is to explain what TPM is and what the use of it is, why Microsoft is putting it in, which is a simple answer, and we're not going to delve too far into what the trusted platform module is. We are just going to explain kind of what it is, and I'm going to explain something that Microsoft and a lot of other tech YouTubers have not. So, we'll first go into the minimum system requirements for Windows 11. The minimum system requirements when it comes to the processor for Windows 11 are a little robust, but don't worry about that. If you remember earlier Windows releases, the minimum system requirements mean absolutely jack shit. I remember being able to put Windows XP on a 486 processor. You weren't supposed to be able to do that, but I was able to. As long as you have enough RAM, it'll work. 4 gigabytes of RAM, yeah, you can do that. So, the minimum system requirements of a Ryzen 2000 series or higher, which is, I don't know, most people have that anyway, uh, or an AMD 8th generation or higher, which would be the 8000 series or higher. So, that being said, what nobody is telling you, and this has started a whole scalping thing for the TPMs. It has started a whole shit ton of issues that don't need to be put out there. A trusted protection module is a cryptographic module. It randomizes numbers and protects stuff like login information, anything that's saved on your computer, it protects. And it's something that's needed to use the Windows BitLocker and that kind of stuff. It's an added source of security for your computer. And the reason why Microsoft wants it is because Microsoft wants to switch everything to always online. Now, in a different talking head video, we're going to get into something with that, but we're not going to go into the state of the broadband internet in the United States. That's just a whole half an hour, 45 minutes that I can rant on. So, this is what Microsoft wants to do. So, if you have the Windows Home Edition of Windows 11, if you go out and you get the retail version, it is going, or if you upgrade your Windows 10 because you're going to be able to, if you upgrade your Windows 7 or 8 because you're going to be able to, for free, you're going to have the Home Edition or whatever edition you have on your computer. I have the Education Edition. I'm a college student, so I'm actually going to school for all of this stuff, which is fantastic. So, the Windows 11 Home Edition is going to have a requirement that you need to be online. Even to set it up, you need to be online because you have to log into your Microsoft account in order for you to be able to get onto the computer, because they don't want you having what's called a local account, which would be just an account that's on your computer and not connected to the internet. I don't mind this. A lot of people do. It's a personal preference. It's it's people's opinions. Everybody's allowed their opinion. I don't mind it. Other people do. That's fine. So, this is why they want you to use the TPM. Now, what nobody is telling anybody, and I had to spend hours researching this entire thing because I have an AMD Ryzen 7 5800X 3070 video card, the RTX 3070 Founders Edition, 16 gigabytes of Crucial Ballistic DDR4 3600 memory at CL16, 1 terabyte PCIe 3.0 M.2 drives, and just a regular solid state drive at 512 gig. All of this on an Asus B550F ROG Strix motherboard. When I first tried it, I could not put Windows 11 on my computer because I did not meet the minimum system requirements for the preview because of the TPM. There is no TPM built into my motherboard, but there is. If you have a Ryzen 2500 or later processor for AMD, or a Skylake or later processor for Intel, and I don't have any first-hand experience of that one. I've never dealt with Intel's side of this. I had a 4790K, and the 4790K, which is a Broadwell processor, did not have Intel's firmware TMP built into it. So I'm just going by what I've seen online, and apparently, I think before Skylake on the non-K processors, uh, Intel had their firmware TMP, but Skylake was the K processors, the gaming processors, that they had their firmware TPM. I said TMP back there. I don't know why I keep doing that, but let's not go down that road either. On the Ryzen platform for the 2500 and later, the BIOS setting, you have to go into your BIOS for this, and I can't tell you exactly how to do that. Each BIOS is different. And by the way, this is only for people who have built their own computers, because most pre-built computers and laptops built since 2017 have had TPM 2.0 built into it or turned on in this fashion. You have to go into your BIOS for the Ryzen and for the Intel and turn on an option for Ryzen called FTMP, or the Firmware Trusted Platform Module. For Intel, it is called IPPT, or Intel Platform Protection Technology. Nobody is telling anybody this. If you have a computer with an 8000 series Intel or almost any 2000 series AMD, you turn on the TMP, you turn on Secure Boot, and you're good with Windows. Nobody's saying any of this. this should be something that is being talked about by the big tech YouTubers. Some of them are just calling this entire thing e-waste, which I get it. If you have to go out and buy a security module to plug into your motherboard, yes, that is e-waste. If you have to go out and completely upgrade your system just to get onto Windows, yes, I agree. This is completely e-waste. One, you've got until 2025 to deal with all of this, because that's when the end of life of Windows 10 is going to be. Two, you've got until October until the retail version is out. The retail version is only going to have it's only going to have the requirement of TPM 1.2, which means there are older processors that deal with TPM 1.2. The rest of the Ryzen processors, from what I understand, from the 2500 and below, have TPM 1.2 built into them. You turn that on, you can get into Windows, because, like I said before, that requirement, the minimum system requirement for processor, is probably the most fluid thing about the... It's probably the... I'm worked up. I'm sorry about that. It's probably the most fluid thing about the system requirements. Because let's not... let's just be completely upfront about this. The 4790K that I had can outdo a 2500 AMD. Well, not outdo it, but it can keep up with it. So you can at least go back to the 4th generation high end of Intel. Okay. And I don't know if I said this before, it's been 12 minutes. But they are letting people who do not meet the minimum system requirements download and test out the... I hate when it does that. They are letting people who don't meet the system requirements download and try out Windows 11. Which means even if you don't meet the minimum system requirements, as long as you meet the RAM requirement, that has always been the case with Windows, as long as you meet the RAM requirement, you can install it. Because the processor has always been the most fluid system requirement when it has come to Windows. As long as you meet the RAM system requirement, you will be able to install and use Windows 11. Because even the video requirement for it is so very low. The highest requirement for it is the processor. And I am guessing, this is only a guess, I haven't asked anybody, I am in the insider program, and I probably will be asking this. I am guessing that the only reason they are saying those processors is because those are the processors that have the firmware TMP built into the code of the motherboard. But nobody's saying this. You have to dig for it. So, I'm coming right out and saying it. Not many people are going to watch this, but makes me feel better that I'm doing this. Because if one person watches this and understands that this whole thing about system requirements is... You went over it with Windows 10. You went over it with Windows 8. You went over it with Windows Vista. You went over it with Windows 7. You went over it with Windows XP, with Windows 98, with Windows 95, with Windows ME, with Windows 2000. There have been so many Windows. Every time, people have complained about the system requirements for it. And most of the time, the system requirements have meant nothing. I really don't care if they require a TMP, or a TPM, sorry. If you have to have a trusted platform module in order to use Windows, so be it. Because most computers have it. Don't go out and buy it from scalpers. Because there's a lot of scalpers who are buying up the modules right now, and they are just gouging the prices like they've done to the processors and the video cards before them. Do not go out and buy them from... If you're worried about the entire thing, if you're on AMD or Intel and your BIOS haven't been updated, just update your BIOS and it'll probably be there for you to turn on. Like I said, the retail version of it, if you have 1.2, you're fine. That's all that's going to be required for it. At least that's what Microsoft is saying right now. Things can change. But for right now, I just want to alleviate a little bit of the anxiety that people are having because most people don't even know what the hell a trusted protect I'm getting upset again. A trusted protection module or TPM is. I didn't. I've been working on computers since the Apple IIc. That's a very long time ago. And I don't know what that is. I know more about frickin' security modules. I've learned more about security modules in the past 3 days than I knew in my entire time working with computers. It is what it is, folks. If it's a requirement, you're going to have to do it. But I don't think it's going to be. I'm pretty sure, even if you don't have the protection module, you're going to be able to put Windows 11 on your computer. You're going to be able to do your free upgrade at the end of the year. You're going to be able to do anything with Windows 11, and you will be fine. As long as you have the requirements of the RAM. 4 gigabytes of RAM. If you have that, you should be fine. Don't quote, well, you can quote me on it that you should be fine. But keep the qualifier in mind. Keep doing your own research. I know this is part of your research, but the preview build just came out. They just announced Windows 11. This is all from research that I've done since this announcement. And this is all from previous Windows launches that I've known, that I've dealt with. But everything is different. But this is how Microsoft runs. And if they are letting people use the preview build without the minimum system requirements, the minimum system requirements are not set in stone. At least that's my opinion. So we're at that point. That was my rant. If you liked what you heard, if you want to hear more or see more, because I do streaming and everything, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down at the bottom. I'm going to try and get my setup fixed a little bit. Maybe a green screen behind me. At least something to cover the wall or something. I it actually doesn't look that bad, but and you can see my whole uh, cabinet of wonders there with my motherboards and everything, and up top you can see the Commodore 64 floppy drive. Yeah, I have a computer from 1982. I have been working on computers for a very long time. So, like I said, I'm also going to school for this through Penn State. So, it's one of the reasons why I've come in to all of this and wanted to do this for everybody, because it was frustrating for me when it came to the TPM requirement, because I didn't know what was going on. And then I did some research and I found out that not only did this processor have it, my old processor, which is the 3700X, had it. I have a friend who has a 2500. He has it. It's built into the AGESA code, people, for Ryzen. It's built into whatever the hell the code is called for Intel. I haven't used an Intel since the 4790K, so I haven't really had to look into anything Intel since then. So, but this video is getting a little bit long. I don't really have editors or anything like that, so I just do the talking head video and I upload it. So if you like this and are interested to see how far I can get with the editing and making everything look pretty, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and you'll be seeing more videos on my in-depth review of Windows 11 as I use it on two different platforms. I'm doing that for you guys so that I can use it on a gaming and basically workstation PC, and then just an everyday laptop that I use for schooling and everything. So, until then, everybody have a great day or night, depending on when you watch this. Have fun.